I'd also like to remind you that if you have a question when we open it up for questions, please raise your hand. We'll get the microphone to you, and then you can ask your question. All right, Coach, could you please start with an opening statement?
Yes, thanks for having me. First, just incredibly excited for our women. These three leaders and captains right here led us all the way to this magical moment. You know, at the end, it was really important that we celebrate, even though they're so about excellence, they didn't want the end to go the way that it did and to get as close. Well, history so far. We hope there are more big moments after this. And just so incredibly excited for our women. And just the reminder that to get somewhere like this, what these women have to sacrifice and what they have to do and what the staff has to do, you know, there's just so many challenges. We've had tragedies on our team. We've had people go through hardships this year. And all of those things can either break you or forge you closer together. And this group, every single time, chose to forge closer together. And I'm so excited for all of them.
Okay, at this time, we're going to open the floor up for questions for the student athletes. We'll come back and get Coach, but we're going to start with student athlete questions. Does anyone have a question for the student athletes? Can we get the mic right there?
Yeah, Keela, you 32 points tonight. What it seemed like early on, especially, you know, you could get whatever you want in the paint. Did you kind of feel like that as the game went on?
Yeah, I kind of just got a feel for the game in the beginning. Most of the time, my team, like, they always tell me to just go to work, and I think I took that literally today and tried to make every basket.
Okay, other questions for the student athletes? Can we go back in the back there?
And this is for any player who wants to answer, but I know the coach said hopefully there are more big moments coming, but how big was this moment to win the first NCAA tournament game in school history, and how'd you kind of soak it all in? I know you got to move forward because there's more business to be done, but how'd you kind of soak it all in the moment on the court?
Tredasia, could you please answer that?
It was a big moment for us. Like I said during the Big South media, we all came here to make history and rewrite a story and write our own story for Longwood. And as you see tonight, like, we did it, and we're not done yet.
Once again, for anyone, Kyla, I'd especially like to hear from you because I saw so much emotion from you out there in that fourth quarter. When things got tight in that fourth quarter, you know, up by 20, all of a sudden, 5-7 point game. What were you telling yourself? What were you all saying in huddles? And where did that fight come from?
Just to not panic and to remember who we are, and that, you know, it's getting closer, but we have, you know, great scorers that we could always get it right back and score right back with them. So I think there was a run where, like, 3 would hit a shot, and then we would go hit a shot, she'd hit a shot, we'd go back and hit a shot. Like, we're a type of team that we're always going to try to get it back, and I thought we were trying to do that, and when we couldn't get it back, that's where we were getting a little frustrated, and, like, so let's say we're competitors, so towards the end we want to keep getting it back. But the win, I guess, is pretty good. So.
Right here.
Listening to your press conference previously and some other things about your coaches, how they prepare you, some things that you all do, mindfulness and motivational speakers. I mean, how important has that been, and how has the coaching staff helped you to prepare for games and, you know, take it all in as you go?
Tredasia, could you answer that, please?
It's very important. I know I do mindfulness now before every game, and just to have that tool is amazing. Like, I didn't even know what that was until we first started. And just, like, knowing what could get me in a certain space is always great to have as an athlete.
Any other questions for student athletes? Once, twice? Oh, right.
For any of the players, have any of you guys thought about NC State, or is that something that you just kind of, you know, all your focus goes to that tomorrow?
Let's start with Akila on that one, please.
I think we have. I mean, we wanted to beat this team so we could play NC State. So, yeah, we're thinking about it, but we just have, like, more film to watch, more preparation.
Any other questions? All right. Ladies, congratulations. You're
Thank you.
excused. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
I think they're pretty well set, probably. All right, we'll now open the floor up for questions for Coach. Go in the back there.
To kind of follow up on Mitchell's question, I know you want to celebrate this, but when you get the brackets, I'm sure you may have peeked ahead to who's next, probably started scouting already. If you've already started scouting, when did you start that, and what have you seen from state on film so far?
Yeah, great question. So we did start scouting, right away. Fortunately, we've got a good staff, and we can focus in different places. Obviously, they're, have earned everything that, they're seeding. And I think for us, it'll be go out and compete as hard as we can. We played a really tough non-conference schedule. First game was against Maryland this year. We referenced that. This year we tied them in the first quarter. And it's just, how long can you play at your best to compete with a team that on paper outmatches you? And I think that'll be our mindset going in. Obviously, yeah, we got a lot of prep to do for them.
In the back there.
From looking at your social media, you're big on the history of women's sports and the history of the game. So this is obviously the first four. And so I wanted to ask, what did it mean to be a part of this and to be surrounded by the March Madness branding? And what do you think about the atmosphere out there today?
Yeah, thank you. Great question. We are all about women's empowerment at Longwood Women's Basketball. And if you want to be about women's empowerment, then you have to know about the women before you. And certainly, what Sedona Prince did last year as a student athlete made more progress than what some women or men have devoted their careers in terms of equity for women. And her speaking up, and I think just recognizing the power that student athletes have at this time in history. And I think there have been great strides this year. Obviously, the student athlete experience this year is supposed to closely match the experience of the men, step by step along the ways, and I think our women have benefited from that. We've talked about this is the first group that's getting the exact same gear as the men, and all the women before them didn't have that opportunity. So while we're very grateful for that and want to be educated about that, we want to take the next steps forward. So we're excited when the ESPN contract negotiation comes up and women's basketball can get the value that it's worth, which thankfully for what Sedona did, and then the report that came out that showed how much value there is in women's basketball, let's keep taking steps forward. And then let's get a unit for women's basketball so that when these women put in all that work and all that sacrifice and they compete at a really high level, then there's a monetary reward for the universities for that, because if you invest in women, great things are going to happen.
Question up front.
Mount St. Mary's thing is three-point shooting. In the first half, that did not go so well for them. Did you kind of have a feeling that at some point they were going to start falling?
We did. I thought, obviously they played an incredible second half, and they were just, pretty much lights out from everywhere in the second half. We actually thought they were going to really start to drive it first since they were struggling so much from three, and they did come out, very first play, drove it at us. And then once they hit a couple, Brizzy, she just played great. We had to try multiple defenders on her until we could kind of cool her off a little bit. So I thought she did a great job. And they have such veteran guards, a super senior. They've got, fifth-year senior. So we anticipated that run. Typically, we handle that better than we did today. And I think that's why our women, were kind of looking around like, come on, let's get this. But again, I thought, our response down the stretch was veteran and, by our own leadership to just stay the course, find a way to win the game. I thought we did a good job with that. Yeah.
Question over there.
Were your advantages in terms of quickness and athleticism against the Mount, were they even bigger than you thought they might be?
Great question. I thought that we could force them to play the pace that we wanted to play. They're certainly under, they don't have everybody right now available due to injury. So that is a factor in the games that you look at as a coach. And so we already want to push the pace of the game, and then knowing that they were not, fully staffed. I didn't know that we would do exactly what we did to start the game. That's how we played in our championship game. And at that time, I thought that was kind of a special moment, really related to that opponent. And so when we came out and did it again, I was like, okay, we're in a different kind of space here. I wasn't sure we'd be able to do that on this stage, and they had already been on this stage. They were here last year, so it wasn't as new of an experience for them. So I think, you saw us come out in that space, and then you saw maybe some of the nerves hit us of the environment, as they started to make their run.
So there.
Hi, Coach Grace Brewer with WGBN. From your old stomping grounds in D.C. and Northern Virginia, I was wondering if you maybe just share a point of reflection on your time at Osborne Park and in that high school level to where you are now sitting in this chair.
Yeah, great question. So my time at Osborne Park, my time at Forest Park, and my brief time at Hilton, all in Prince William County, where I was born and raised, went to school. My entire family teaches there. One of my brothers, Nate, actually texted me today just saying that he's telling everyone he knows his sister's coaching in the NCAA tournament. And I text him back because he's a coach, a whole coaching family. And I said, Nate, everything that we did at that level translates. It translates. And I think, for the lessons that have been instilled in me from my parents and then also from the great coaches that I've worked with, it's that you teach. You guys were asking how did they respond in those moments? What were we saying? And we were saying be in the present moment, right? Let's get this next stop. Let's make the next adjustment. So you're teaching the whole time throughout the game. And then if you do that enough and they believe like they do and they commit to one another, then really, really special things happen. So grateful for all those players that I got to coach and got to learn as a young head coach, as a high school coach. I value all of those experiences, and my heart is still in some of those places too.
Any other questions? All right, Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you,
Congratulations.
everybody, for the coverage. Yeah, thank you.
The Mount St. Mary's press conference should be starting shortly. Hey, can you take that name tag from the end off? Ready to go ahead and start the Mount St. Mary's portion of the press conference. Coach, if you could begin with an opening statement, please.
Yeah, just first thing that comes to mind is just so proud of this group and how they fought back at the second half. That first quarter, I think we were a little caught off guard about how athletic and fast and quick Longwood is. And we haven't seen that kind of athleticism probably for about 3 months since non-conference. So that caught us off guard, and credit to our players. They continue to battle coaches. We kept trying to make adjustments and figure this thing out, and I think we did that in the second half, and we proved it. We went out, played some really, really good basketball, slowed ourselves down on offense, these two hit big shots, timely shots to get us back into it. So first thing that comes to mind is just super proud of this group and how they just continue to fight.
All right, thank you, Coach. Now we'll open the floor up for questions for the student athletes. If you can come around right here.
Yeah, Kendall. That third quarter, 15 points, 5 for 5, 3 from deep. What happened? What started clicking for you that maybe wasn't working in the first half?
Yeah, I think going into halftime and just talking to my teammates and my coaches was a really good reset for me. And I think I definitely came out nervous. I came out rushed, and like Twan said, we haven't seen that kind of athleticism or pressure in a long period of time. So being able to kind of recollect, regroup, talk to my teammates, talk to my coaches, take a deep breath, come out and realize you got to do this. It's now or never. So I think that was just my mindset in the third quarter.
Okay, right there, Coop.
Michaela, do you think the way you guys fought back into that game, do you think that was emblematic of the team that you were all season?
100%. Obviously, we didn't have the best first quarter, but after that, we were neck and neck with them, and it proved a lot to us that we can run with the more athletic teams, the bigger teams. So it proved a lot to ourselves and to other people, like not to always count them out, because we were 7 strong, and we almost beat a very talented team. So yeah.
On the edge over there.
For either Kendall or Michaela, you guys talk about how it could be anybody's night with this team, especially like a game like tonight. What can you say about Jessica Tomasetti's contributions?
Kendall, could you answer that first?
In March, she's been, I think, our X factor. I think she has been our person that we turn to. She is the one that has got us going. She's the one that kept us going, whether it was the offensive boards, the big shots, or locking up on defense. I truly think this March she was our X factor, starting from our quarterfinal game to this game, and I couldn't be more proud of her. And she's only a sophomore, so watch out for Jessica Tomasetti.
Can you go in the back now?
Yeah. Kendall, I think I was all the way across the court, so it might have been one of your teammates, but was that your family that you were hugging there at the end as time was running out? What was that moment like, and what were you saying to them, and what did it mean to have them there?
Definitely very emotional. They've been through this journey with me since I was 8 or 9 years old, and through the good times and the bad times, they've just had my back like no one else. They've been to pretty much every game regarding the circumstances, and just being able to hug my teammates and my coaches and then see them at the end of the bench and them tell me how proud they are of me and that they love me so much. It's a feeling that I'll never forget.
Kendall, even though it didn't count, do you feel your half-court shot provided a bit of a spark there going into halftime?
I don't think a spark. No, I definitely think some excitement, seeing my teammates run out at me with the smiles and the joy on their face. It kind of made me realize I just need to calm down, and this is a sport that I love playing, and I was too hard on myself, I think, in the first half. So seeing that go in was it was funny. We actually practiced those shots every shoot around, and I have not made one this year, so I'm going to count that to my list.
Any other questions for the student athletes? In the middle.
Yeah, Michaela, I don't know if you've already decided this or thought about this, but are you going to use your 5th year?
Yes.
Come back to the Mount?
Yeah, I'll be using my 5th year for sure. Yeah.
Get it, girl.
Say that again.
At the Mount. At the Mount.
Any other questions for the student athletes? All right, ladies, you're excused. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, and now we'll open the floor up for questions for Coach White.
Coach White, what can you say about the third quarter that Kendall played there?
Yeah, that's just Kendall for you. She's a big-time player. Ever since she stepped foot on Mount campus, that's what she's been about. She's put this program on her back. She's the ultra competitor, and we go as she goes, and she got us going in that third quarter, and you saw everyone else kind of followed suit.
On the end.
Antoine, coming into this game, obviously you were here last year with the team as an assistant, but now that you're in this chair and you got a group coming back, what is your takeaway as a head coach from this experience?
Yeah, it's a great experience, and obviously we're losing some key pieces to the puzzle, and Kendall and Keeks and Tess as well. But we got a really talented young core. You know, Kendall just gave a lot of high praise to Jessica Tomasetti, and rightfully so. And when you look at Jess and Hunt coming back and Jada Lee getting a lot of minutes, you know, we got another sophomore who's going to be able to help us out in BP. The future's bright here, and you know, and I believe with this group, if they continue to work hard, we bring in some more key pieces to surround them. You know, we have a good chance of coming back. You know, and I know that's not easy to do, but I think very highly of this group, and especially that young core.
You know, you're going to be able to have your time to recruit and bring in your players coming in. But just looking at the guards that you have coming back and everything, and obviously with the goal to come back here, you know, what is it going to take from this team? You know, you talk a lot about the preseason or the non-conference season. Is it just getting more of those games in to be more familiar with a team like this?
Grace, I don't know how many more non-conference games we can get in. I mean, this one was tough. We loaded it, right? We loaded it, and for this reason, for the Longwoods. And I think for us, we got to get a little bit more athletic. You know, we got to get bigger. You just look at Longwood's roster. They're so long and so athletic. We got to go out and get 2 or 3 athletes. I mean, you see, we have the skill players. We can go shoot the ball with the best of them. And from the free throw line, from the three-point line, you know, we led our conference all season long from the 3. So for us, I think it's super important that, you know, you got to go find some athletes that can help rebound and defend at a high level.
Right there, and then we'll go to the middle.
Coach, you knew they were quick and athletic, but was it still eye-opening to see it in person at the start of the game there?
No, it didn't catch me off guard, you know, looking at them on film, and we explained that to the players going into the game that, listen, you know, they're great athletes, and that's their style of play. They play really, really fast, and they get up and down, and, you know, they shoot the 3 ball a lot, and I thought we did a pretty good job defending the 3 tonight. You know, but again, you can preach it all you want, but until you're in the middle of the game, it's a different beast.
Go here in the middle.
Coach, the struggles from 3 in the first half, did you feel like that was something you guys weren't doing right, or their defense, or the shots just weren't falling?
No, the shots weren't falling. I mean, we got some great looks, wide open looks. I didn't think it was anything that they were doing defensively. We had a game plan to run a lot of ball screens, get them to overhelp from the deep corner, and this team is really unselfish. You know, we'll skip it to the deep corner. If you're open, they'll shoot it. If not, we go one more to that wing, and we did that. We were a little nervous, and we rushed our shot. In the second half, we slowed ourselves down, and those shots started to go in.
Any other questions? All right, Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
A recording of this press conference will be available in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Thank you for joining us.